What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back on the morning sesh. I feel like I haven't been on a morning session in a little while just because of the summertime. Kids were home all the time. I was home with the kids while my wife was working. The kids just got back in school last week, so more morning sessions, which means hopefully more videos for you guys. Shout out to you guys for watching all my videos and the constant support on the channel. It means a lot. If you guys haven't subbed yet, hit the sub. If you guys enjoy what I've been doing so far on YouTube, make sure you like the videos as well. Helps me out a lot. But today's video, we're gonna go over the keys to skating Nollie. There's a few benefits to skating Nollie, one being the fact that it's harder, but sometimes when you get good at a trick Nollie, it actually becomes not much harder than it is to do regular. There's certain tricks now that I prefer doing Nollie over regular, like crooked grinds. If it's just a normal ledge, I'd rather Nollie crook it than just crooked grind it. Another benefit to skating Nollie would be like foot placement. As you get into a trick, say you want to do a crook Nollie flip out, right? But it's hard for you to get into the crook, set up your foot for Nollie flip, and do it. When you Nollie into that crook, your feet are at the front of the board almost the whole time, which makes, for me personally, setting up my feet to do like Nollie crook, Nollie heel way easier than it would be for me to do a crooked grind Nollie heel. And this all comes with like experience. Obviously you have to get good at Nollie crooks and get a really good Nollie going. Then I think trying to learn flip outs of certain crooked grinds Nollie, or like tricks where you stay on the front of your board, actually become pretty easy to do Nollie. Another benefit that kind of goes along with that would be, say you're out skating street and you want to film a line and your second trick's pretty hard to do, so you want to make sure you get that first trick like pretty consistent and dialed in. Instead of just doing a nose grind or anything kind of basic, you just throw the Nollie in the mix and it makes it like a lot cooler without it being crazy hard to do. It really isn't that much different of a trick once you get that proper Nollie down. It's just a good option to have to be able to skate every stance, right? So if you'd like to see other stance-based videos, just let me know in the comments below. I feel like when skating Nollie, there's three main things you consider, which one being speed, two being timing, and three being your momentum. They all kind of go hand in hand with each other. When you focus on these three things, it'll make your Nollie skating 100 times easier. And it all comes with just repetition and practice, just doing it over and over and over again, and eventually you get that timing dialed where you barely ever miss a pop. And then your speed, you want to go a little bit faster every time you skate Nollie, just because of where you're popping and where you have to go. It's not as easy to carry the distance when you're going towards and then popping off the nose. It wants to hold you back, and that's what I see a lot of people struggle with, is the board constantly like going behind them, or your body getting ahead of the whole trick because you're not leaning properly and you don't have your momentum and speed carrying you forward. The more you do that and the more you practice just nollieing off curbs or nollieing up onto curbs, the more it just becomes natural to where you don't even have to think about it. You don't really have to look at the curb before you pop. It all kind of comes like naturally the more you do it. I'm gonna go over like each obstacle. I'm gonna skate the stairs, I'm gonna skate the ledge, I'm gonna skate off bumps, and I'm gonna kind of give you every example that I can think of when you skate Nollie and how each of them are different, and then tips on how to help you guys out while doing these things, so that hopefully you can take how I think about skating Nollie and apply it for yourself, and then just help you out in general for your skating. But before we get too far into it, I have to give a shout out to my sponsor of the channel, Epic Water Filters. If you guys have not had a chance to pick up one of these water bottles yet, try to get your hands on one. Use my code EPICASTA at epicwaterfilters.com and you could save yourself 20% on one of these bottles. This thing's awesome. I carry it with me everywhere. I don't have to worry about plastic bottles or buying water bottles. I can find like a spigot, a hose. This filter will literally filter water out of a creek, a stream, anything that's fresh water source, and it will filter it to have you drinking nice clean water. So if you haven't picked one up yet, go pick one up. Use my code EPICASTA at epicwaterfilters.com. And now it's time to get some warm-ups in. All right, feeling pretty good. It honestly looks like it might rain any minute, so hopefully we get this video in. But what I want to help you guys with today is your speed, timing, and momentum, and like really keeping that cozy so that every trick that you do Nollie just feels better. I don't have anything with me, but I feel like a great way to learn to get your timing down when popping Nollie is set up like a jump rope or something, like a stick along the ground. Try to pop over it, right? That will allow, like if you hit it, your nose will scoop it and pretty much move everything, you know? But it'll let you know if you're popping at the right time. If you're popping over that thing every time and you're popping before it, your timing's pretty decent. Then you got to figure out your speed, right? Then you got to go fast enough so that your back truck as you pop clears the jump rope or stick as well. The way I pop nollie, and I'll show you guys in a second, is I lean most of my weight kind of behind, a little over my back truck, and I really push my front foot forward as I snap, so that it really pushes the board forward, and with your speed, you should be able to carry that further because your body weight will be the momentum behind it. I'll give you guys an example just on flat of how I nollie. I don't have a jump rope or anything like that, but I think that's a great way to get your timing down to pop nollie. So I'm gonna use this crack right here to kind of be my jump rope or stick or whatever, but I don't think that's a good idea if you're learning to do this because you don't really know, especially a crack like this, it's not gonna catch your nose or anything, so you don't really know if you're popping at the right time or not. You could be popping late, you could not be clearing your back truck over. So I'd recommend using something to nollie over. I'm gonna show you how I nollie. I'm gonna play it in slow-mo and everything so you can really see how my upper body pushes that board forward, and with enough speed, my back truck carries over the crack, all that sort of stuff. I hope you guys can see what I'm talking about. Definitely watch my upper body, check out my foot placement. My foot is super low on the nose, which helps really push it forward, and then you get that snappy timing. Once you get more used to it, obviously the snappier it'll get and the more quick you'll get with it. It's really about pushing the board forward there and using that momentum and then pulling the board back with your other foot, obviously. Anytime you skate nollie, you do have to skate a little bit faster just to clear what you're doing or make sure you get onto the obstacle that you're trying to get onto. Popping nollie makes you have to clear an extra like board's length almost, you know what I mean? You can't pop as late, so it does make sense. Just go a little bit faster with your nollies, and the more you do it, the more you will improve at it. An important thing to remember when skating ledges nollie is that distance away, and that's timing, but kind of in a different way. That's why on each obstacle that you skate nollie, timing, speed, and stuff are a little bit different on each obstacle. Because when you skate a ledge, you have to make sure you pop early enough to not smash into the ledge as you pop. But you have to make sure, again, that you have enough speed so when you do get that good nollie, that you clear over into the no slide or crook or whatever you want to do. Nollie 50s are a little bit differently because you're popping next to the ledge, not necessarily like into the ledge, like a nollie crook or a nollie no slide or front no slide and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do a nollie no slide here and just give you an example of what I mean and kind of watch where I pop, where my nose hits the ground, and then where I end up in the no slide. Just keep an eye again on foot placement, the angles I take, and I'll get a little more into that in a second, and how to practice this as well after I show you this example. But here's the thing, right? As you're learning this, your nollies might not be as high as mine. They might not be as proper of a nollie. So you might have to use your distance more, which means you might have to actually pop further away from the ledge to give you time to really get up on top of the ledge. So, as to where I can kind of nollie straight next to the ledge and kind of come up like immediately, you guys might have to kind of come out this way at more of an angle and pop and use your momentum to kind of carry you into it, if that makes any sense. Because the way I nollie is I can nollie really quick and high, like immediately, but some people, their nollie might take more distance to get up than others. If you're ever in a problem where you're smashing into the ledge constantly, like nollie no slide, and just bashing your nose into the ledge, try to come at slightly bigger angle, pop a little bit further away, but still have enough speed to clear that. I'll show you kind of what I mean this time. Like you might come out here, and then swoop in towards the ledge and pop. And the way that you can learn this too is literally just come straight at the ledge. Like if you're trying to learn nollie no slides, learn nollie no stalls on the ledge. Come straight at it because that will get your timing down to pop early enough to get onto the ledge. Learn that on curbs, learn it on a small box, and then the more you do that, slightly change your angle and direction you come at the ledge with the same speed pretty much, and then kind of use that. So as I nollie no slide too, you'll notice I cruise up and then I kind of carve towards the ledge and pop at the same time. That way it kind of carries me towards the ledge. And while you're doing all of this, I know it's a little bit confusing, but you have to remember to lean kind of on the back side of your board, kind of really keep the board in front of you, because that will allow the board to fly out in front of you rather than just your nose hit the ground and kind of stick and fly behind you, which a lot of people have trouble with when they pop nollie. You make sure your body weight is square above your board, a little more in the back seat, and use that nollie momentum with your front foot and really push it forward up into the nollie no slides. And then after you get your nollie no slides, you obviously apply all that same stuff to like nollie crooks. You slowly change your angle and kind of don't turn as much in the no slide and get more on top. That'll lay you into a crooked grind. It's also the same thing with frontside. Frontside's a little bit harder just because frontside no sides are harder. Is just like use that angle to your advantage when you're first learning. I'll give you an example of a nollie front nose as well right here. A good way to kind of get more comfortable with Nollie no slides and stuff like that as well too is you kind of jump to your front foot. You can kind of bail it super easy. You don't want to get in the habit of doing this, so I suggest just trying the Nollie no stall method. If you want, you can kind of ride up, pop Nollie, but just jump off your board and just get a foot on it. It'll at least give you that upper body motion and feeling of popping Nollie into a no slide. So kind of like this. Just something like that. Sometimes I use that on like taller ledges just to like get my legs going and feel like I can jump up high enough. But I only really use that method on like others. Sometimes I'm going down steps just to get the jumping legs going, or on tall ledges as well. It gets me to feel more comfortable with it. Also, I'm going over no slides and just kind of Nollie to front foot tricks more, just because I feel like they're more difficult. When learning Nollie, once you get Nollie 50s and stuff like that, it is easier to go to 5-0 just because you can kind of cheat that back truck up. You know, you're already high enough where you're popping. So I'll do a couple Nollie 5-0s for you guys so you see what I mean. And if you're just starting out Nollie, definitely learn Nollie 50s, get those dialed in. It'll help your pop, your timing, all that stuff before you go to Nollie no slides. It's not as difficult as the Nollie no slides and front foot tricks, in my opinion. That's why I figured I'd focus a little heavy on those. Honestly, don't remember the last time I did a Nollie front 5-0. That felt super weird, but it's just some Nollie tricks I forget about. I'm actually more comfortable now. I wasn't in the beginning. Nowadays, I'm definitely more comfortable Nollieing to my front leg, Nollie nose grind, stuff like that. Also, Nollie backside 50-50s are a little bit weird. Good practice for Nollie back 50s would be to come up on the side of a curb and just try and Nollie on top of the curb, but at an angle to kind of get your momentum shifted over there, because you kind of have to Nollie and like pull the board over. But now I'm just gonna get some Nollie tricks in and just kind of see the angles I take, how far away I'm popping from the ledge, certain things like that, that I think can help you guys learn to get better at your Nollies. I didn't realize how quick I had to pop out right there. All right, kind of the last thing I want to go over on the ledge, it really helps set up your feet for flip tricks out. When you pop Nollie and your feet are already pretty much in that position the whole time, it makes it like 10 times easier, at least in my opinion. I mentioned that before in other videos. I'm gonna do a Nollie crook, Nollie heel, and I just want you guys to watch my feet and like how they don't really have to shift too much within the grind, where you see some people where they do crook, Nollie flip, and they get into the crook and then they're wiggling their back foot. You don't have to wiggle as much when Nollieing into the crooked grind. And I'm gonna do a crook, Nollie heel, and hopefully you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'll try and get it first tee, let's see. Not first tee, but the whole time I was rolling up thinking that I wanted to lower the camera because I felt like the camera was too high. So second tee, we'll try and get it. I'm gonna lower the camera. Even when I ride up Nollie to the crook, my back foot is kind of in that Nollie heel position a little bit because I can still Nollie in that position, and it just gets me in that trick so comfortably to be able to Nollie heel out. You guys think you can crook Nollie heel? A little side key I can give you guys. Side key. I should start giving side keys more in my videos. But a little side key is that you do crook Nollie heels is just remembering to stay on top of the ledge. Like when I was first trying to learn them, I would be super on the side and the heel flip wouldn't work out. Once I got on top, I was still pinched, but my weight was more on top of that like heel side wheel almost in the pinch. That allowed me to get so much leverage to do the heel flip out, and I think that'll help you guys a lot. Just remember to be on top of that Nollie crook when you go to heel flip out. But now we're gonna move over to the pyramid and we're gonna skate Nollie off of a bump, which is my least favorite way to skate Nollie. Skating off bumps is probably the weirdest way to skate Nollie just because every bump is a little bit different. It depends how steep the bump is, how long the bump is. All of that is to take into consideration. I feel like I miss my pop Nollie more off bumps than any other obstacle just because of that reason, just because every bump is so different that I really have to get used to the bump and know it before I pop Nollie. It's hard, it's quick. Like, you know, you have to go faster. So you might ollie off the bump a few times, but the second you have to do a Nollie off the bump, you're going way faster, which makes that time on the bump way shorter and everything just happens so much faster. And when skating something like this where it's like a gap in the middle, that's all about speed and again that momentum that just is going to kick you over and keep you over that gap. You're gonna have to go fast, quick Nollie, forward momentum motion, and then really just use your body weight to follow through and keep your momentum going over the gap. So I'll try to get a nollie over this thing now and kind of show you what I mean. Let's get it. I feel like it's funny too, the second I start skating nollie or like straight nollie over something, I remember that it's easier to nollie 180 over things. I don't know why that is. I think it's just because the way you push and then your body turns, and it's easier to carry that 180 a further distance than just a straight nollie. It just feels better and easier to carry things across gaps when I'm turning, especially nollie backside. So that's why a lot of times at contests and stuff, I don't straight nollie heel stairs or straight nollie flip stairs, very rarely, but I will nollie back heel, nollie backside flip stairs way more often than I would anything else. Keep that in mind too. If your nollies are like, it's hard for you to clear something, but you're getting a good snap on your nollie, try nollie back 180s. If that feels more comfortable for you, or you feel like you might be able to do that better. I think that is easier for me to nollie backside 180 rather than just straight nollie. Expected to miss the nollie flip once, but the nollie heel, I thought I had it, man. Again, when skating off bumps, it's all about like timing and quickness, because you don't have all the time in the world to pop. The second you hit that bump, depending how steep it is or how long that bump is, you might have to pop pretty soon, which can be awkward. It can be super weird. So definitely just get used to how it feels on your legs. So the more used to the bump that you are, the more likely you're gonna get that snap and proper nollie off of it. Nollieing off bumps, man, is pretty sketchy sometimes. That's why any trick I ever see over like bump to bars is fucking crazy, man. Then we move on to the stairs, rails, hubbas, that sort of scenario when popping nollie. I don't find the stairs and popping into rails as the hardest thing to nollie into. I feel like that's more bumps for me personally, and just the way that I've always skated, I always skated more street, not that bumps aren't in the streets, but I've always skated more like stairs and rails rather than bumps, so I always got more comfortable with my timing and everything nollie for stairs and rails and hubbas rather than the bump. When skating stairs and gaps, again, it's speed, timing, and when popping off of a stair set, you have to make sure that your nose is gonna hit every time. I'd practice this off a curb. Off a curb is the best thing you can do. Just go with a decent amount of speed and try just get your nollies down to where you don't even have to think about it. That's the best thing, because nowadays when I skate something nollie, not even usually a thought in my head that I'm gonna miss my pop, unless it has like short ride up or something where it's hard to set my feet up in time. I'm pretty comfortable skating nollie. If I miss my pop, something else probably went wrong for me to miss my pop like that. I think you can dial in your pop for something like stairs way easier than bumps. And also want to make sure there's no cracks in front of the stairs, because your nose can dive straight into one of those cracks. It will send you flying down the stairs and your board staying up top of the stairs. It's fucking the worst. Depending on the stair set. If it's a tall stair set, straight nollie is obviously the easiest. But again, something like this where it's more long than it is a drop, I'd rather nollie backside 180 this straight out the gates, because I can carry that 180 further. Kind of like what I explained with the bump. I feel like the second I threw down my board, I realized that it was kind of windy outside too. And that's another thing you have to think about when skating nollie down gaps. Nollie into the wind, it's horrible. Just don't do it. It's terrible. Next thing I want to get into is nollieing into a rail, because I think a lot of people trip out on this one because they don't know where to like look with their eyes. They're like, do I look where I pop? Do I look where I get onto the rail? What I can recommend is that I never look at where I'm gonna pop. I look at the rail. I'm trying not to think about this too much because I feel like it'll just kind of fuck you up. I can't imagine looking at the ground. You have to look where you're going, right? The ground is in your peripheral vision, and it's all timing and like something that you learn to feel over time when you have to snap that board. I always look at where I'm gonna get on in the rail, which is usually like the middle bar of the rail, and I kind of aim for that as I pop, and I'm looking at that, and I kind of pop and use my momentum to carry me to where I'm looking. At least if you miss your pop with nollieing, I feel like you can get a foot on the rail. There's so many times where I nollie and the board just falls behind me and I put my foot on the rail. So I'm super comfortable and I want to put it into the crook or into the nose slide or whatever I'm doing. So I always look at the rail and I use just the experience and the feeling I have of when I have to pop. And it comes more natural as you practice it. That's all it is. It's just dialing in that timing to where you don't have to think about it. But I'm gonna do a nollie, I don't know, I don't want to do a nollie crook because I do nollie crooks all the time, but everything else kind of sounds scary. Maybe I'll do a nollie frontside nose slide. I haven't done a nollie front nose down a rail in a while. That looks scary, kind of. I should do it though. I should nollie front noses. I haven't done it in a while. That was scary. right, now I'm gonna see if I can nollie inward heel over this table. And skating off the bump is the hardest way for me to skate nollie, so I think it'd be a good little ender for the video. So I'm gonna try and get this nollie inward heel for you guys. Definitely felt a little too close. You want the table to be a little far away from the bump so that your nose, again, has time to clear it before just smashing into it. That was it. So clearly I'm not at the skate park anymore. I am still all sweaty. I just got home. I wanted to do this while it was still fresh in my brain. My phone died, my batteries died. I was kind of in shambles at the end of that session after the nollie inward heel. But the point of this video was to give you guys keys to improving your nollie skating, right? It's not a full trick tip tutorial video. It wasn't focused around certain tricks in particular and how to do them. It was nollie in general and get you more comfortable on your board nollie. I think it helps out with so many more options when you're out skating and doing lines or in the streets filming. And I hope some of the tips I gave in this video does help you improve your nollie skating. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace, yo.